You are in a prison right now as you're watching this. You don't feel the bars, you can't see the walls, but they are there, constraining every single decision you make, every belief you hold, every emotion you feel. And the most terrifying part? This prison was built by a single, seemingly innocent entity, and it's been following you since the day you were born. It's not the government. It's not a secret society. It's not even your parents. This prison is constructed from stories. The stories you tell yourself about who you are, about what you can do, about how the world works. And I have one piece of evidence that makes this undeniable. Your brain did not evolve to see reality. It evolved to tell itself a convincing story about reality, and that story is full of lies. Today, we're going to find the Warden.
Rewind. 100,000 years ago. You're not you. You're a hominid on the savannah. You hear a rustle in the grass. Now, two possibilities. It's the wind, or it's a predator. Which brain survives to pass on its genes? The careful, paranoid one that assumes predator and bolts every single time. Your ancestor's brain didn't need accuracy. It needed a useful narrative. Better safe than sorry isn't a proverb. It's the foundational algorithm of your consciousness. Fast forward to now. That rustle in the grass is your boss's ambiguous email. That predator is social rejection. And your brain? It's still running the same ancient software, spinning tales of catastrophe to keep you safe. This is your first prison wall. Your mind is a survival engine, not a truth detector. And this feels awful, because the story it tells is often one of threat, scarcity, and not enough. But here's the twist we often miss. This isn't a bug, it's a feature. The prison feels real because it was designed to. But what if the first step to freedom isn't fighting the story, but hearing the storyteller?
Meet the Warden. Neuroscientists sometimes call it the default mode network. Psychologists call it the narrative self. You and I, we call it the voice in our head. That constant running commentary. You should be further along by now. What do they think of you? This is too risky. We assume this voice is us, our deepest, truest self. That is the prison's greatest trick, because this voice is a pattern, a learned, repetitive, often fear-based pattern of thought, cobbled together from childhood experiences, cultural messages, and past pains. Think of it as a radio station you didn't choose, playing on a loop in the background of your life, and you've been mistaking the radio for the entire room. I remember a period where my inner narrative was, you have to hustle constantly or you'll fail. It felt like pure motivation, my truth. Then I got sick, completely bedridden for a week, and the voice didn't stop. It just shifted to, see, you're falling behind, you're weak. That's when I realized this voice wasn't my friend. It wasn't even me. It was a program running, a warden masquerading as the walls themselves. Here's the key that changes everything. You are not the voice. You are the one who hears it, the awareness behind the commentary. That simple shift from being the thought to observing the thought is the first crack in the prison wall. So where do these stories come from? Why are they so sticky? To understand that, we need to look at the architecture. Your brain is a prediction machine. It loves shortcuts. Every time you have a thought or an emotional reaction, you're blazing a tiny neural pathway. Think of it like walking through a field of tall grass. The first time is hard, but the second time, you follow the flattened bits. The 10th time, the 100th time, you've created a deep, muddy trench, a superhighway for that specific thought. I'm not good at public speaking. Money is hard to get. I'm unlucky in love. These aren't truths. They're just well-worn trenches your mental energy automatically flows into. The prison isn't just walls. It's a labyrinth of familiar, self-dug ruts. This is neuroplasticity in action, but working against you. Studies show that habitual behaviors literally rewire your brain, making the automatic action stronger and the conscious choice weaker. Your stories become your biology. The Warden pours concrete. But this grim fact contains the escape plan, because if you can dig a trench through repetition, you can dig a new one. The tool for that isn't positive thinking. It's something far more concrete: conscious disruption.
To break a pattern, you must first see the pattern. You must catch the Warden in the act. This requires becoming a scientist of your own mind, not a judge, a curious observer. For 1 week, I want you to do one thing. Carry a notebook or use your phone and just log the Warden's favorite hits. Don't analyze, just document. 7:15 a.m. Thought, today is going to be stressful. 2:30 p.m. Feeling a pang of anxiety after sending an email. Narrative, I probably messed that up. You are not your thoughts. You are a researcher collecting data on a fascinating, slightly annoying subject. This act of noting creates what psychologists call cognitive diffusion. You separate from the story. It's like watching a movie. When you're fused with the story, you jump at the scary parts. When you remember you're in a theater, you can observe the techniques, the music, the lighting that create the fear. The emotion might still be there, but you're no longer owned by it. You've just created a millimeter of space between you and the prison wall. In that space exists your actual freedom. But data alone isn't enough. You can know the trench is there and still fall in. To build a new path, you need a second, more powerful key, and it has nothing to do with thinking at all.
The prison of narrative exists almost entirely in the space between your ears. But you are not a floating brain. You have a body, a profoundly intelligent, present-tense sensing network that the Warden stories constantly overrule. Your body is the escape tunnel. Here's a fact that changes the game. Emotional experiences are first felt in the body as pure sensation, then interpreted and labeled by the mind. A tightening in the chest, a flutter in the stomach, heat in the face. The Warden jumps in instantly. That's anxiety, that's shame, and off goes the story. But what if you could intercept the signal? Pause right now. For 10 seconds, drop your attention out of your head and into the physical feeling of your feet on the floor. The weight, the pressure, the temperature. Just feel that. For those few seconds, the radio station of the mind faded into the background, didn't it? You were experiencing reality directly, not through a story about it. This is your superpower. Research shows that people with higher awareness of their internal bodily state have better emotional regulation and less anxiety. They can feel the sensation without immediately buying the catastrophic story attached to it. The body's data is clean, immediate, and real. The mind's story is old, edited, and often fictional. The practice isn't to fight the story with better thoughts. It's to anchor yourself in the raw data of the senses, the feel of your breath, the sound in the room, the sight of light on a surface. This pulls you into the now, where the Warden's power collapses. The prison walls are made of past memories and future fears. They cannot exist in the present moment.
So, is this a one-time escape? No. The Warden is persistent. The trenches are deep. Freedom isn't a destination where the voice stops. It's the ongoing ability to notice you've been captured and to gently, firmly step out of the cell again. It's realizing you are the sky, not the passing weather of your thoughts. Your homework isn't to be perfectly free. It's to become a better escape artist. First, collect the data. Notice the stories without believing them. Second, drop into the body. Use your senses to ground yourself in what is actually real right now. You started this video in a prison you couldn't see. Now you know the architect, you know the building materials, and you hold two keys. The most profound journey you will ever take is the 18-inch descent from your head to your heart, to your senses. That's where reality, not the story, is waiting for you.